That's interesting, isn't it? Gamble aware, 18 plus. It is a bit of a gamble. Well, it's not really, is it? It's voting day today, and I'm of course not going to be voting. I mean, why would I do a silly thing like that? Talk about the election later on. There's something I quickly wanted to talk about, and sorry if this gets boring to be talking about it, but both last night and this morning I received quite a few comments from people basically calling me a shill, saying that I've got a script writer and that I'm showing my true colours by daring to even insinuate that people actually died in the London Bridge attack. Just to let you know that actually even this very morning I was speaking to a work colleague of mine who one of their friends works in one of the restaurants in Borough Market, and she was telling me how the entire restaurant is really, really depressed and in complete despair because one of their waiters or whatever got stabbed to death. So the information that's coming to me in the real world, on the ground, being amongst people who actually work and live in the area, is that yes, definitely people died. So when I have people on the internet saying, you know, I don't know, it's like, it's the level of critical thinking and the blinkeredness in the conspiracy movement that bad that they're not willing to just try and evaluate all of the options that are available. Why do they always have to go straight with, oh, it's a complete hoax, nobody died, it was all fake, it was all acted? The conspiracy to keep that sort of thing quiet, if all of those people have to remain quiet and it was just an exercise pretending to be real, why aren't there lots and lots and lots of people basically saying, hang on, that's a bit weird, I'm sure nobody actually died? It's insane. The level of the conspiracy for it to be a complete acted out job is so massive that it's insane to run it like that. It's much, much, much easier to radicalize somebody through the internet and encourage them to do this thing for your political advantage. Is it just me? Please let me know that I'm not literally just insane, because it's starting to feel a little bit that way. I need me one of those. What the hell is this? I mean, look at that. What the hell is that? I have no idea. Some kind of broadcasting van? Weird. I'm going to St James's. Not going into a polling station or anything, because that's just right boring as hell. I want to just show you something I noticed earlier on today, which when I saw it, I thought, oh my God, I've got to go there and film that. There's nothing to do with the election whatsoever. Let's go around and have a look at what this van is. Still don't know what that is. Well, I mean, I know what it is, but I don't really know what it's for. It's really weird. Oh, there we go. Oh well. There's a little cut through here to the very secretive and exclusive area of St James's, which is where I'm going. Should I show you? It's quite interesting. If you've never seen it before. Well, I've had quite a successful day. Not professionally, but in terms of like handling those obvious conversations that happened, which are like, have you voted today? Oh, who did you vote for? Oh, you don't believe in the institution of voting. Normally, I mean, I've had these conversations like multiple times. It's quite obvious this time that, you know, most people who are basically nature's little repeaters have this phrase in their head which is like, oh, if you don't vote, you haven't got a voice, for which I've been responding. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that most humans are born with a voice. Like, we have a voice because we are human. It has nothing to do with like registering to a state government system by which you get a voice. And there are many people in this country who don't vote, but have a much larger voice than people who do, like Rupert Murdoch, for example. And I could even say myself, I don't vote, yet I've got, I guess, quite a large voice. I do have a voice, do I not? Oh, but yeah. People have been watching the television and they've been convinced that, you know, you can only have a say in things if you're registered, you know, to the king, which is a bit weird. There we go. Guy in a little security booth over there checking me out. A lot of the police actually stare me out nowadays. It's quite disconcerting. I suppose it's because they sit in their like little people carrier vans all day long, like twiddling with their phones and watching police videos on YouTube, and so they kind of recognise who I am. But they look at me when they look at me, they're not like, oh yeah, I recognise that guy, he's from those videos where he was having a go at the police. They look at me as if kind of going, I recognise that guy from somewhere. Where do I recognise that guy from? It's really quite disconcerting. Anyway, oh look, there's a little cut through here. It's rush hour, so lots of people are going to be easy. Oh no, not. Prince Charles lives down there. Very, very high security. So the funny thing is, they actually protect Prince Charles more than they protect the Queen. And that's because the Queen disappearing is all part of the plan. I don't mean like before her time necessarily, I just mean the Queen disappearing is all part of the plan. It does not create a hiccup. Whereas apparently, if Prince Charles were to disappear, that would cause a bit of a hiccup, because the institution of monarchy is very crucial for the very running of this country. You know, we wouldn't know how to run the country if it wasn't for the crown, and obviously we wouldn't know how to run the country if it wasn't for things like the Freemasonic Lodge for Mark Master Masons, which I have shown in like a little documentary before. But yeah, there's their spooky windows. I don't know if you've seen around the front of it before, but the front of it, if you ask me, looks like an owl. I'll show you. There. Big yellow building that looks a bit different from the rest. Does that look like an owl to you? To me, it's sort of like got peaked tufty ears like an owl. Anyway, yeah. It's the Freemasonic Lodge of Mark Master Masons, which I believe is the lodge that knits together the City of London and Westminster. So, for example, up the little alleyway there, Crown Passage, you can see it below the Quebec flag. Around there is a pub basically that is just filled with old Freemasons with City of London badges on for the different guilds and everything. And this is the place where they worship stuff. Satan, Lucifer, the sun, whatever you want to say. It is actually, you know, obviously extravagantly nice as a building because, you know, Masons pretty good at designing buildings, I guess. There's all sorts of like hidden animals and stuff in the stonework. Really weird. That's not what I'm down here to show you though. What I want to show you is outside the headquarters of The Economist magazine. Just check this out. This is what they've been hiding away. Head in the Sand, Brothers. I've never seen this one before. I mean, what can we say about that? Holy crap. You know, business, Freemasonry, the celebration of the, you know, separation between those who wield power and those who will never be allowed to have power. And I'm talking about just the ordinary people who create all the bedrock finance that people like to monetize and milk and that sort of thing. Which is something I was saying to people today as well, which is that Jeremy Corbyn, you know, he might get elected. I mean, God, it's going to be really close this evening. I'm not going to stay up for it because I do not really care to do that sort of thing. It's not that exciting. But yeah, something I've been saying today, they'd be like, oh, Jeremy Corbyn better than Theresa May. You know, oh God, everyone, actually literally, everyone hates Theresa May. Literally everybody hates Theresa May. Even people who are voting for her, presumably. But for people who have said to me, you know, oh, Jeremy Corbyn's better, I've been like, well, one of the structural things that is wrong with the entire of society is that they take out of our pockets and they deliver it straight away to the private international banks. Do you think Jeremy Corbyn is going to stop taking money out of our pockets and giving it to the private international banks? Of course he's not going to do that. It's the very bedrock structure of how society was created in the first place. Manipulation, servitude and robbery. That will continue under Labour just as it will the Conservatives, but interested in a way to find out tomorrow who has won.